What's up guys? So in today's video we're going to be building an Aztec house, or an Aztec starter house that you could use in your survival worlds. Now this house is based off what would have been present around the canals in the more farm agricultural areas of Lake Texcoco and Tenochtitlan before the Spanish conquest of Mexico. So I've got an example coming on screen now of something that I've taken inspiration from for this video. So this is trying to use a few more basic materials, things that you can find in a jungle biome. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So you're going to need a base of 16 by 11 blocks. Now that's going to cover the whole base of the main house. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take cobblestone and you're going to place 3 blocks on this edge over here and then 6 blocks on this edge over there. Then you're going to fill in the gap with andesite stairs. And then you're going to go around all of the outside here on top of these wall blocks and you're going to put cobblestone. And this is going to serve as the outside barrier for your foundation of your house. Now, a thing to know about Aztec houses and a lot of the houses that were built in Tenochtitlan and the Mexica Empire on the lakes of Lake Texcoco, they were typical of what the Mexica built on, is that they were swampy and they used land reclamation to build their city. So Mexico City nowadays is land reclaimed from Lake Texcoco. So you needed a big foundation to rise up your house above the waterline of where you were building. So that's what we're doing here. Now we're going to take some granite and we're going to just place a normal granite block in from the edge over there. We're going to place 5 there. We're going to come in the inside here and we're going to place 3 blocks. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 like so. Then we're going to go to the back corner and do the same. Set 2 in from the back corner. Then we're going to leave a gap too wide for the door and we're going to do a shape like so. And then we're going to join it up to the back. Now that's going to be the base wall layer of our house. So just double check that you've done that right. Then what we're going to do is going to take some andesite walls, as well as some polished diorite, and we're going to come inwards from here, and we're going to place 3 polished diorite blocks inwards from the edge, and then some polished diorite stairs. Now what I'm making here is I'm making a little casing for an anvil or something else that looks like a little pyramid shrine that would have been typical of some of the more wealthy houses in that region of the of Lake Texcoco. So I'm going to put an anvil in there for the sake of this video, but you could really put anything in there. I mean, you could put brick standing there if you wanted to. Now we're going to start building the main walls. So I'm going to take some smooth sandstone and I'm going to start building up 3 high and 3 high on this inside wall as well. Then on the outside, I'm going to leave 1 window. So this is going to have 1 window, this house, and I'm going to start building along there. Now I'm going to leave that gap in the top because we're going to put some upside down stairs. But we're going to fill in all the other walls the same as we've done on the sides, just going all the way up in the corners, all the way up here, and then we're going to leave it 1 down from that over there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to replace some bits of sandstone. So there's some of the smooth sandstone here. We're going to just replace it with some non-smelted versions of this, so just the normal sandstone block, just to add a little bit of extra texture in the wall to make it look like the, you know, the wall adobe has trying to, or has started to wear off in the sun and in the weather of the Mexican lakes. Then we're going to take some upside down smooth sandstone stairs. I'm going to place them along the top here. And this just adds a little bit of extra detail to where the roof joins the tops of the walls. Like so. Now we're going to start building in with trapdoors on the front door. We're going to use some bamboo. So this you can find in jungle biomes. We're going to put a bamboo door in the front there. So we're going to put double doors there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make a little shaded area over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, just as I fix something over there, we're going to take some jungle fences. We're going to go 3 upwards. And we're just making a little shaded workspace over here for you to do whatever you want to do under there. Then we're going to take some jungle trapdoors and we're going to fill in just to make like some sort of the base for where we're going to put our carpets. And then we're going to finish off our little shrine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a polished diorite stair on the back, mangrove shelves, and then we're going to put a mangrove trapdoor. Now, if you can't find that in Survivor, you can just use your typical jungle wood versions as well. Then we're going to come in the inside and we're going to make a partition for our bedroom. So we're going to use bamboo trapdoors again for that, and we're going to lock them all inwards like so. Now, just double check that you've done all these bits right for the next step. And you should be ready to move on to our next step in the video. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the roof of this house. Now typically Aztec houses were thatched roofs, but in this example it looks a little bit better to just imagine that the jungle stairs and the granite stairs form some sort of reed thatch roof that is made to cover the house. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go one outwards from the edge of the top of the roof, and we're going to just start placing jungle stairs all the way around the outside. Now, typically, some archaeological evidence suggests that Aztec houses had these thatch roofs that kind of came up as a sort of hip roof. So what we're going to do here as well is just while we're here, we're just going to fill in the top with a carpet color of your choice. I'm going to pick yellow for this one over here. You could do red, you could do blue, really whatever you want. And then we're going to come back to the top of the roof and we're going to start going inwards again with our jungle stairs. Now we're going to come back and we're going to replace a couple of these bits with granite to add a bit more texture. But we're going to follow it all the way around like so. And then we're going to go to the next level again. Like so. Now it might be easier for you to place some blocks underneath in survival. You could even use some of your scaffolding blocks. And then on the top of the roof, we're not going to fill in all the way around the side, so we're going to do something like this, with the stairs turned inwards. And then we're going to take a stripped jungle log, or some stripped jungle logs, and we're going to place them in the top like that. And that's going to make the top ridgeline of the roof over there. Then we're going to go around and we're going to replace some bits with some granite stairs, just to make it look like some bits are a bit older than others. You could even use some birch wood, or you could use some oak wood to try and add a bit more texture as well. Just so it doesn't look so flat, because if you just leave it like this, it's going to look just like, it's going to look too flat and too non-textured. So doing something like this makes it look a little bit nicer. But really you can choose how you do this and do it pretty randomly, to be honest. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to add some extra details on the outside. So I'm going to put some decorated pots. I'm going to take this banner. So this is a cyan banner with other different patterns on it. So if you can copy these exact things in your own world, it looks like some sort of nice Aztec fabric pattern. And then I'm going to go around all the outside with some bamboo signs. Then you don't have to do this, but I think it adds a nice little bit of extra texture. It looks like someone's painted a nice stripe along the house. I do this in a lot of different builds. In this Aztec one, maybe not as historically accurate, but adds a little bit of, texture and detail to your build. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some bamboo fence gates on some of the corners, and we're going to just turn them in. This acts like it's some sort of extra structure to your roof. You can't add it in the corner where there's the fabric canopy, but in the other corners we can add it in, so you may as well do. Now I'm just going to add some more of these banners around the outside to look like someone's weaved some different fabrics, something in indigenous American and Latin American cultures is that fabric weaving was a very important part of the culture, and houses would have been decorated with various different fabrics that would have been made by people living in the house. Now what we're going to do is going to start working on the interior. Now I've tried to keep this interior really simple and functional so you can adapt it into your survival worlds. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to add some jungle fence gates. This is going to be some sort of structure, structural joists that run across the top of the roof. You don't have to add this, you could just fill in the whole thing with trapdoors to make another floor. But it looks quite nice, so I'm going to do it anyway. And then we're going to do it over on this side as well, so just over that bedroom space. But you could also leave this if you want to add a bit of extra jungle trapdoor space on the upper attic area. But we're just going to finish it off in this example here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some jungle trapdoors and I'm going to start filling in the top here. I'm actually going to move this ladder across because I think it will be a little bit easier to access some stuff on that side. We're going to fill in this area over here with jungle trapdoors. So up to that internal wall that isn't covering the kitchen. And that's going to be a space where you can access some storage things up top on top of the house. I'm going to put some lanterns up there just to add a bit of extra light in the house. And then I'm going to make just a very basic survival kitchen space. So I'm going to add a couple of furnaces. In fact, I'm going to change that and add a loom and a crafting table. And I'm going to add a smoker over there. Then I'm going to take some jungle shelves and I'm going to whack them over here. Stick some jungle trapdoors on top over here. And then what I'm going to do is in that space there, I'm going to add a nice flower pot and some chests on the top. So just a little bit of extra storage on top of your kitchen space there. And a bit of decoration here or there. You can put some ferns maybe, or a flower of your choice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some beds. I'm going to stick 2 beds in there. Some scaffolding, which is going to be a nice little table. And I'm going to put a candle and some banners over here just to add a little bit of extra detail. You don't have to add that in. You could just add some torches and some different things, or use the same banners that we used outside. But it's really up to you on how you do that. In fact, I'm going to add a banner on here as well, just to add that nice texture on the inside. I'm going to put some carpets on the inside as well, just to make it feel a little more homely and soft. I'm going to light this as well over here. And in fact, what you could do is you could just add some extra lighting up here on top as well. Maybe there as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come on top of this attic area. We're going to put some bits of storage, so maybe an armor stand, chests, these sorts of things. It really depends on what you can get and what is really available to you in survival. I mean, creative, you can do what you want up here, but what you could do is you could put some Swiss acid in the corners to fix that area, and you could put some barrels in this little bit on top of the walls, so you could have a bit of extra storage that's up there, that's out of the way. It doesn't look so ugly in the house itself. Now we could do, and this is a kind of optional thing that you can do in this, but what would have been typical to water areas like this, where these Aztec houses would have been built, is they would have built their floating or somewhat floating farm areas that were called Chinampas. And these were things that were basically put with they would make different fences, and they would try and cordon off an area of the water that they were building on, which was typically shallow lake beds. And then they would backfill inside that reed fence with dirt and different things of sand and sediment to make a terrace farm. So what I'm going to do here is, in front of this river lake area, I'm going to extend some grass blocks or dirt blocks out into the water in a certain pattern like so, and I'm going to leave a 2-block gap in between them. Now the reason why I'm going to do that is I'm going to add some jungle trapdoors in between them, just to make it look like there are these little reed fences that bound these islands that come outwards. But in Minecraft, in survival, this is really, really useful, and it's a really nice way of building farms because it looks like something that they built back in the day, but they're also very effective as Minecraft farms because all of your crops stay watered. So doing something like this alongside a river will actually look really nice, and it'd be really effective as well. Filling them out like so. As you can see, I've got these nice little islands that are approaching out into the water. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bound these with some jungle trapdoors along the edges, so it makes it look like there are these little fences that are holding these islands together. And then in the corners, I'm going to add actual jungle fences in the corners like so. And then on the front, I'm just going to do the same thing with the jungle trapdoors to make our Chinampa. Now we're going to repeat this with some other ones. We're going to maybe cut some other holes to add a bit more irrigation. Then I'm going to put some little gravel pathways that are going to connect our farms to our house. Now this really depends on what your terrain is like in your own build. As you can probably tell, and as you will know, all Minecraft worlds are not the same, so you want to try and adjust this to what you do have in your survival world or your creative world. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just till all of this dirt over here, and I'm going to put some wheat seeds. You could put some potatoes or really whatever crop you want to, but it could work as an effective farming area. Now what you could do to maybe make it look a bit nicer is you could mix some crops here or there. So in one farm you could put a mix of different crops like potatoes and carrots, and maybe another one you could have solely wheat. It just adds a little bit of extra colour. Radishes are quite nice because they add a bit of red. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some of the blocks actually untilled, and I'm going to add some large ferns that look like they're these little palm trees that are growing throughout the little farms as well. But you could add flowers that look like bigger crops if you're in creative, or some tall grass which might look like tall maize crops as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to decorate with some flowering azalea leaves. Now these look like bougainvilleas, which are a growing vine plant typical to Mexico and what would have been grown by many of the Aztec civilizations in the area. So I think it looks quite nice. And then I'm just going to show a quick example of what you could do with your area. So I've got an axolotl there, which is swimming around, which would have been typical of the Mexican lakes. I've got some crops growing. I've got some nice little trees that I've added in as well. So as you can see, I've got some different things here. Then we have our house. We have our little shrine with our anvil and some little pot storage areas at the back. Then we have the interior of our little house. So we have a bedroom, we have a kitchen area. We have a storage area upstairs as well, which you can adapt for your survival worlds. And you've got some textiles as well. And then going back outside, you can see the effect of the Chinampas that are extending out into the water. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed building the house and you've enjoyed building in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope you've learned a little bit about Aztec houses and Chinampas and how the Aztecs farmed their villages. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new here, and until the next one, goodbye.